and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Broseph Sports. I'm your host, Darren Ryan. Let's talk a little bit about how preseasons went for the NFL. Me being a Viking fan, I think preseasons went really well. Big highlight for me for preseason was seeing the progression of Jaron Hall, possibly stepping into being the backup quarterback with the Vikings, and seeing the transitions of Tristan Jackson, wide receiver, who I think can be the number 4 wide receiver on this roster. He's had an amazing offseason and excellent preseason. Another guy that really stands out for the Vikings is the rookie, the kicker. Guy's got an excellent leg on him. Dallas Turner said it himself. He's a cold-blooded sniper. I'll put it out there like that. He's a cold-blooded sniper. That guy can kick it from long range. Yesterday, he nailed a 57-yard field goal to help seal that preseason finale in Philly. So I'm just hoping that, these guys can come into the season healthy. They have a healthy season. I'm not looking for anything big this season. I'd say this season is going to be a down year. Next year we're going to have a salary cap, so I think that's going to help out a lot. So you'll probably see some changes next year. So you're probably going to see some more big names on this roster, and also fill up these holes that we got on the team. Mainly for me, I feel like it's the interior D line, the interior O line, and shoring up the corner room. I think go out in free agency if you don't draft if you're not planning on drafting a corner. I feel like you go out and you already get a established name, somebody that can come in, somebody that can gel well in Flores' system and help build up a championship team. I first started watching the Vikings was back in the late 90s as a kid. 1998, it looked like that was a championship team. We shit the bed. Last notable one was 2009. All Brett Favre, in my opinion, had to do was hand the ball off, and Vikings came up short again, shit the bed. And the infamous 2017. You know, they showed up against the Saints, but couldn't show up in Philly. So again, shit the bed. So I think coming into this season, I'm not looking forward to anything big at the moment. I just need these guys to play decent, finish the year off decent, going into next season, have a good off season, have a good free agency, and a good draft, and I think they'll be all right. Gonna take a quick commercial break. I got some food coming, so bear with me here.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
My apologies. But yeah, like I was saying, I think we go into this off season. I think we go into this off season quite well. I just need the Vikings to fill up these gaps, bring in some players that fit the team, fit the mold, especially on defense, that fit Flores' system, and it's time, in my opinion, it's the time to build up championship team. And I think they can do that going into this offseason. Have a great free agency, have a great draft, have a great camp, and have a great preseason. But I'm not looking forward, I'm not looking for the Vikings to have a spectacular season this year. This year is going to be a down year, and there's going to be a lot of improvements that need to happen with this team. But most importantly, I feel like just watching the talent that we brought in and just watching this team execute together, I think it's going to be really big. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how well these young guys do in the system and watching these players grow. Um, NASCAR. I don't know if anybody watches NASCAR or not, but man, Xfinity Series was at Daytona. Man, talk about a stellar race. There was a few wrecks. Um, Most importantly, I was really hoping for one of the JR Motorsports cars to get out up front and go out with a victory and with a win. But kudos to Ryan Truex. Excellent race. I think he did a fantastic job. I think he has a future in NASCAR. I don't know if that's going to be with Joe Gibbs Racing or not, but hopefully I get to see him in the Cup. Watching the Cup race, kudos to Burton for that victory that he had. I really wanted to see Kyle Busch win. Uh, I thought he had it, but Burton was just had a really good car. Busch had a really good car too, but hey man, if he can come into next race with the same mentality he had at Daytona, and if he can come into the next race with a good car, I think you can see that rowdy number 8 in victory lane. Scary wreck, I'd say. Seeing Josh Berry flip the number 4 car, and he slid upside down on his roof, and then hit that wall. That was kind of scary to see. But I mean, once those cars get all jumbled and bobbled up, and everybody's moving around trying to draft, it just takes one wrong move and chaos happens. That's usually the case at the big speedways like Daytona and Talladega. But excellent. It was an excellent weekend for NASCAR. I don't know if we got any baseball fans out there or not, but Nationals are up 1-0 right now against the Braves. It's the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. And coming up here shortly, we're going to have Diamondbacks and Red Sox. You're going to see Reds and the Pirates. You're going to see Rockies and the Yankees. You're going to see the Angels and the Blue Jays. Cubs and the Marlins. Rangers and the Guardians. Tigers and the White Sox. Phillies and the Royals. You're going to see the Brewers and the Athletics. Mets and the Padres. Giants and the Mariners. Rays and the Rays and the Dodgers. Astros and the Orioles. That's all coming on today. And for all the Twins fans, we're gonna see some Cardinals today at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time versus the Cardinals. So we're gonna see Cardinals and the Twins. I was really liking this Twins team. Carlos Carrera, hell of a player. I think we just need to keep loading up on talent, to put talent around this team. But most importantly, the pitching needs to get better. We gotta find the ace pitcher. We gotta find something to really excel this team. That's been the issue for a while now with the Minnesota Twins, is the pitching. Thursday at 7 p.m. College football arrives. North Carolina and Minnesota. Tar Heels and the Golden Gophers. I need the Golden Gophers to come out with a fucking bang. Something needs to happen. I'm not looking forward. I'm not, looking at, these guys just coming out, just guns blazing this year. I just want to see some improvements with this team. All right. I been hearing all off season, Fleck and the guys really going out and supposedly putting together really good recruiting. So I want to see if it's true or not. I want to see what these new guys who are going to be a part of the team really bring to this team. Like, I want to see if it's a facade or not. I want to see these recruits really come in and really help benefit the team. Because if not, I think you bring in some better recruiters. Because I hate being at the bottom of the barrel, in my opinion, in the Big Ten. You add in these West Coast schools. You already added in the East Coast schools. In my opinion, I would have kept the Big Ten all Midwest. That's me. I would have kept it Midwest, but I mean, if you're really competing right now with the SEC, then by all means, branch out. If in my opinion, if they're gonna really branch out again, I feel like you need to bring in Notre Dame with the TV deal the TV deals that they get. I think could really help benefit the Big Ten. They come into the Big Ten, they already got two really big rivals that already play in the Big Ten, which is Michigan and USC. And not only that, you're going to have their in-state rivals. They're going to be playing Purdue. They're going to be playing Indiana. So I think, bringing them in, they're going to have if you bring Notre Dame in, they're going to have a big rivalry with Ohio State. Like I said, they already have a rivalry with Michigan. So they'll have that going. And then the Pac-12 teams that came in. So, and then Penn State too. But I think if you're going to branch out again, you're going to branch out, and offer more schools to come into the Big Ten, what makes sense to me, you bring in Notre Dame, bring in Iowa State with their rivalry with the Hawkeyes. I'd bring in Missouri. That's if they're wanting to stay in the SEC or not. But I'd bring in Missouri. I'd bring in Kentucky. And I'd say either West Virginia. I'd either bring West Virginia in or you bring in Tennessee. And that's if they're willing to leave the SEC or not. Or you go out and you get Louisville. Either way, I think if you're really going to branch out again, you bring in some of those Midwest teams out there that can really help with the Big Ten. But in my opinion, if you bring these schools in, and what I would do is I would ship Rutgers off to the ACC. Maryland, I'd ship them off to the ACC. But I mean, if you really want to branch out, bring them in, and you just draw that fine line north, have it, all Big Ten, and then SEC. That's what I would do with the Big Ten. Going on right now, SMU player got ejected for spitting on a Nevada player. Oof. Really, really, really tough. You gotta spit on another player. Me personally, I think that's really, really stupid. It's not something that I'd be out here doing, especially if I know that it's gonna hurt my team. Because in my opinion, you need to come in with a nice shoulder on your head, nice head on your shoulders. Sorry, but also take into account, you're not just a person just representing yourself. Now that you're part of a team, you're representing the team and the organization. How does that look, having you out here making stupid decisions like that? Hopefully the next time he's able to come in and play, hopefully he has a better head on his shoulders, because it's not something that it's not something that I would want to see happen with my team. Going back to the NFL, Rams are allowing linebacker Ernest Jones to seek a trade. Los Angeles Rams have granted linebacker Ernest Jones and his agents permission to seek trade. Sources told ESPN's Jerry Fowler on Sunday. The permission comes after the Rams and Jones unsuccessfully discussed an extension as the linebacker enters his final year of the contract. Jones acknowledged he was looking for a new deal last month. He says, "I know that the work I put in these past 3 years, I know I'm worthy of something regardless what the worth may be, Jones said. Said, I love to be in LA. I really want to be here. This is truly where I want to keep my family at and grow my family here. But I also know that there's a business side of it too that I can't truly control. We'll see. Uh wow. I mean, honestly, a team I really could see him going to. And this may shock a lot of people out there. Um, I I could see him. I could see him going to. I could see him going to the Raiders. Um, I could see him going to. I could see him going to the Bucks. Could see him going to the Lions. Um, hell, Buffalo Bills. Just, I mean, any team that really truly needs help at linebacker. Feel like, and depending on the scheme, depending on how well he fits with that team and that scheme, so to say, I think it'd be a nice piece. I mean, he's totaled 320 tackles. He's come 5.5 sacks, 3 interceptions in his third 3-year career. I mean, 2021 third round pick. He was a part of the Rams Super Bowl winning team in his rookie season. Hey, last year he had 145 tackles, 4.5 sacks last year, and career highs for him. Um, he was with former Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. Uh, I could see that being a possibility. He could go to Atlanta and be part of that team with Morris. Going by his history with Morris. Otherwise, me as a Viking fan, I would not mind bringing him in. I I could see that tandem working well with him and Ivan Pace. Uh, and you throw him in with Blake Cashman. I think Blake Cashman is a nice veteran to have in my linebacker room. All judging by his experience, I think and then having a guy like Brian Flores, I think would really help too. But you put him in any team that has a uh, great defense with a great defensive coach, I think he can do well. Um, hell, throw him out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like he could do really well out in Pittsburgh. Pair him up with Patrick Queen. You're looking at a good combo right there. Uh some sad news. Ravens O-line coach has died at the age of 70. I want to give out my thoughts and prayers to the Baltimore Ravens football family and all the fans. It's always sad to hear somebody part of an organization, whether it's a coach or a player or player's family member or coach's family member go down. Um, Again, my thoughts and prayers go out to the team. the Commanders are finalizing a plan to build up Sean Taylor statue. I think that's really really fucking big. Sean Taylor, very 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 good safety. His life was cut too short. Um, when I was growing up, Sean Taylor was playing football. Uh, Hell of a guy. Um, but for all the young people that don't know Sean Taylor, um, just a tremendous athlete, tremendous at his position. Again, he died too young, tragically, but I think this is a great tribute to him, and I'm all for it. Being a Viking fan, I'm all for that. Oh boy. So we're already got some games that have already played for college football. Um, Georgia Tech upset Florida number 10 Florida State. Uh, that that right there was really really big. Um, I wasn't I wasn't expecting Florida State to go down like that, but with that being a really really close game, I think Georgia Tech is for real. I think they make the top 25 this season and really make a name for themselves. Um, Coming up on Thursday, we're gonna have Western Carolina taking on NC State, number 24 NC State. That's gonna be at 6 p.m. You're gonna have Murray State versus Missouri. You're gonna have You're gonna have Kansas and Lindenwood. You're gonna have Utah and Southern Utah. A lot of these, so like a lot of these games, I really don't see any more upsets. But I mean, anything's possible. Um, I got NC State winning their matchup against Western Carolina. I got Missouri beating Murray State. I got Kansas beating Lindenwood. I got Utah beating Southern Utah. I got Oklahoma Friday beating Temple. Uh, the big matchup is coming Saturday. You're gonna see number 1 Georgia versus number 14 Clemson. That's gonna be very very big. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, my time. That's gonna be noon Eastern time. That's gonna be a really big battle. And then on Fox on Saturday, Penn State versus West Virginia. That's going to be another solid matchup in my opinion. Then you have Iowa and Illinois State. Iowa goes in, wins that one. Uh, I got Tennessee beating Chattanooga. Ooh, South Dakota State. Uh, Back to back champions for uh their respective uh divisions. Them being a smaller school, they're going to be facing Oklahoma State, number 17. That's going to be really big for them. If they can somehow come out and knock off Oklahoma State, that'll be really big. I currently live out here in South Dakota, and a lot of people out here are really big on the Jackrabbits. Me being from Minnesota, I've been out here 3 years now. I'm a big Gopher fan, but kudos to the Jackrabbits. They have a really good football program, really good recruiting program. I think it would be really big seeing them knock off one of the members of the top 25 being Oklahoma State. I think that would be big for the school. And then you're going to have Akron and Ohio State. Ohio State's gonna blow them out of the park right there. It's gonna be like a scrimmage game. Then you're gonna see number 4 Texas taking on Colorado State. Texas, I think, comes out with a bang. You're gonna have an in-state rivalry. Number 19 Miami at Florida. That's gonna be a great game. Alabama's taking on Western Kentucky. Looks like a scrimmage game to me. Alabama's gonna win that. Ole Miss taking on Furman. I got Ole Miss. UT Martin taking on Kansas State. I got Kansas State. Oregon taking on Idaho. I got Oregon. We're gonna see 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, my time. Notre Dame taking on Texas A&M. That's going to be a big match. Looking forward to that game. Number 9 Michigan's taking on Fresno State. Looks like a scrimmage to me. Looks like practice. Michigan's going to pounce them. New Mexico and Arizona. New Mexico's already 0-1. I got Arizona beating them. Sunday, number 23 USC takes on number 13 LSU. That's gonna be a good matchup. You're gonna have 0-1 on Monday. You're gonna have 0-1 Florida State taking on Boston College. I think Florida State bounces back, and they end up beating Boston College. I'm just looking forward to seeing my Gophers. Really big them facing North Carolina. Didn't bowl too well this last season. I'm looking to see if there's any legitimate changes made to this team. More importantly, more coaching adjustments need to be made. I want to see this team get better roster wise, and more importantly, I want to see this team get better coaching wise, and I want to see the recruiting get better. I don't think that all happens in 1 year. I think you start gradually building that up. But sky's the limit. Not everybody can be dominant. So I understand and I get that, but being a fan, you want your team to do well. You want your team to be in these great situations, so to speak. And you want your team to succeed. So I think some changes need to happen. Um, maybe it happens with PJ Fleck, but from what I'm seeing, that he's locked in already with the coaching job. So I think you bring in some coordinators, get some better coordinators. Otherwise, bring in some new position coaches and bring in some better scouting, because I want to see some big time recruits come to Minnesota, but also at the same time, it's like they need to really go out there and they really need to talk to these recruits about the Gophers football program, talk about a lot of the alumni that have come through there, and more importantly, show them the historic uh, trophy case. Show them the 7 national championships that the Gophers have. A lot of these young guys really don't know. So I think having them come into an already established school that was already paved from players before them that have came before them, I think bringing them into Minnesota Gophers, having them being a part of the big rivalry games that we have against Iowa and Wisconsin, that's gonna be great to see. Me being a Minnesota fan, um, I would really like to see this team be able to beat powerhouse teams like Michigan and like Ohio State, but unfortunately, Gophers are only good enough to beat Iowa and Wisconsin and Michigan State and Indiana and Purdue. Um, I'd say give it a couple of years. Again, it depends on if they really take into account that coaching is an issue, recruiting is an issue, and really bolstering up that roster. I think you need to really bring in some key players, but also I think you need to make some adjustments at the schemes as well. Um, bring in a scheme that's going to work well offensively, because right now it's a run first team, which kind of bode well for us, having Mo Abraham last year. And now he's in the NFL, so I think the kid that we got in there right now is really gonna really step up, and I see him having a monster year. But I really want to see the quarterback room. More importantly, I want to see a big time quarterback come out of Minnesota. Haven't seen that in a while. All right. A lot of the quarterbacks that have come out of Minnesota really not something to gawk at and really drool over when it comes to uh, coming out of Minnesota. So I think that's a really big position that needs some work. Um, Offensive line too. I think you could use some better recruits at O-line on top of QB, but I'd also like some nice recruits in the wide receiver room. In my opinion, the last two big wide receivers we've had was Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman. Defensively, I think the Gophers have set themselves up well. I'd like to see the corner room improve. I like to see safety room continue to excel. A lot of players have come out in the NFL in the draft from Minnesota. Tyler Newbin, Antoine Winfield Jr., Howden's come out of Minnesota. Really big. I like to see the linebacker room improve. I like to see the defensive line. More importantly, I think the defense, quarterback room, and the O-line, and I'd say you bring in a couple of receivers, really try to reshape this team as a whole. But I think it starts with coaching. Coaches really got to be into it. When they're meeting with these players that are choosing where they want to go to school, they really have to instill like this team wants to be a championship team. You really gotta show these kids like we are coming in this season and going forward with a championship mentality. That should be the ultimate goal going into the year every year is championship. And building up that mentality, with coaches, with recruiters, just everybody as a whole, everybody as a cohesive unit, everybody as a unit as a whole. I think some changes really need to be made with the Gophers. I'm sessionally I'm really excited for NBA season to kick off. Um I'm a really big Timberwolves fan. That's why I got the Timberwolves background behind me. Very, very excited to see Anthony Edwards. Kid's a beast. Um, Kid has a lot of potential. I I think they're like one or two players away from being a really, really good team. Um, us making it that far that we did last year in the Western Conference Finals was really big. Uh, Last time that happened was with Kevin Garnett and the boys. So I really like what this team's done. Uh, a Rod taking over the team, really bringing in talent with this team, so to speak. Really shown that they care about this team. They want this team to excel. They're bringing in the right people, which is a good sign. Now, most importantly, um, seeing the Wolves get back on TV is a big thing. I'm glad Bally Sports is going out of business. I absolutely hate Bally Sports. I think it's absolutely asinine that being a Minnesota sports fan and being in the general area of Minnesota, you can't watch a game on regular TV unless you had the Bally Sports app or you had Bally Sports on cable, which is very very stupid. Me living in Sioux Falls, I should be able to get Twins games. Nah, I got YouTube TV. I should be able to get Twins games. I should be able to get the Wild. I should be able to get the Timberwolves. Only team I can get is the Vikings, and I can get the Gophers every now and then, depending on what station they're on. But I think in general, I put them on a local channel. That's what I would do. Unless you put them on a big network like a TV, get a big TV deal going with like ESPN or something like that, maybe. But I think there needs to be a nice medium to where something that can work out for everybody. Because Bally Sports wasn't it, and I'm glad them fuckers don't have control anymore. Because it was absolutely asinine having to get on Dofu Sports or Stream East and fucking watch a game from there. Someone streaming the game, and then next thing you know, the fucking stream gets cut off. Then you have to jump and wait for another stream to pop up. So hopefully they can get this thing figured out. Me personally, if they do get this thing figured out, I think I might jump off of YouTube TV and try to find something that's gonna allow me to be able to watch all of my teams. But also I have to take into effect I'm no longer in the Twin Cities anymore. I'm out here in South Dakota. But luckily I don't live too far away from Minnesota. I'm basically on the border. Closest closest town near me for all the viewers that are watching from Minnesota. Closest town to me is Laverne, which is like I'd say like 15 minutes away, maybe less than that. But man, that's I'd say that's the only thing I really miss about Minnesota besides the great fishing is being able to see all of my teams play on TV. Being out here, um, last year was probably the only time I really got to see the Timberwolves play. Um, them having a big year was really big. Uh, see, I see the Twins every now and then. I'll be able to see a Twins game, but I'm in the area, so of course I'm going to see all of the Viking games. So that's one thing I don't really got to worry about. But I just think marketing needs to be better, especially for TV, especially if you live in the general region of that team, especially how big the fan base is in that region. And if you don't have any big time fan bases already in that area, I think you should be able to get that team on TV, but also a lot of it has to do with money and stuff too. So a lot of these owners and whoever's involved in it, I don't know exactly if they're trying to break the bread or not, but I think something needs to happen. I know I've talked to a lot of Minnesota sports fans that live in Minnesota or live around Minnesota, and they tell me the same thing. Had an issue with Valley Sports, and they've had an issue in general trying to catch games, but they've said the only real luck they've had is with the Viking games, and that's been about it. But I mean, hopefully, they get it figured out. Um, we're coming up on at the end of our show so far. I want to thank whoever is watching for joining us on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. We'll be back here next Sunday at 12 noon. So feel free to watch. Feel free to give a nice shout out to your pals, and follow us on Roku TV at Huddle Sports Network. We are on Roku, and you just go into the search category and you type in Huddle Sports Network, and it'll pop right up. You can get all the podcasts on there. If you're a Packer fan, you can get Packers. If you're a Bear fan, you can get Bears on there. You can get Vikings on there. You can get Lions. We even got Dolphins on there. If you're a fan of wrestling, we got wrestling on there. We got everything. So again, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back here next Sunday. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions.